I really don't understand what's going on, guys. I'm really trying to process what the heck Married at First Sight producers are thinking, letting this drag out. I'm trying to figure out, why do we have another after party? I thought we was done when Keisha Knight Pulliam went on maternity leave. What is her name? Jamel? I already forgot the last name. But why is there after party? I'm very confused. But anyway, hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 20, called The Final Decision. And Shaquille's was literally the final decision. Why we had to have a part two for this, I don't know. Why are we having a where are they now, so to speak, before even the first reunion, and there's going to be a two-part reunion? I don't understand. I really don't understand the dragation of this show. But I guess we have nowhere but to just get into it. So we're picking up where we left off last week. Why are we picking up? Because Married at First Sight producers, they're on some fugazi SHIT. So we left off with Shaquille last week and his decision. Came back this week with his decision. He said no, he want to get a divorce. Kirsten. I'm sorry, Kirsten. I'm still going to get your name confused after all these weeks. It's been 3 years, but I'm still getting your name confused. It's okay. Okay, we not friends. You don't consider me a friend. I'm just a person that just watches the show and reviews it. So whatever the case may be, who cares? But she was looking, I guess, crushed and confused at the same time. And Shaquille goes into his reasoning that he's been feeling alone and feels that she wasn't there to support him. He's getting emotional. He's crying and just continues to say what Kirsten did wrong. And for me, I'm just like, okay, you're playing the blame game. You trying to divorce her. You saying you want a divorce, but you saying everything she's doing wrong, it's all her. It's not, you're not even taking accountability for nothing. So he's saying it's all her fault why he wanted to divorce her. And he crying, getting emotional. The experts are shocked. They're flabbergasted, speechless. They don't know what to say. Once again, Dr. Pepper apologizes. Dr. Pepper, you and Pastor Cal need to apologize for almost all seasons of Married at First Sight at this point. Yes, you should apologize, Dr. Pepper, because what were you guys thinking? But I really don't feel like you guys were thinking, because you guys weren't the ones who chose the couples. It was really probably the producers, and like I said, for I don't know how many episodes for all the seasons I've been doing of Married at First Sight, it's not even y'all, it's the producers, and they just want to stamp your name with it to make it seem like you chose it, but it was really out of your hands. So, but yes, you should apologize, because you were part of putting these people together and making it seem like, oh, your decisions on who should be together was accurate when it's really not. So after she apologized, we get to Kirsten in her confessional, and we see, a little cursing coming from her. And we see, there was a little bleep that you heard on the TV. And she's just shocked that he done divorced her, and he crying. Because she's like, if anybody should be crying, it should be me. But you divorced me. And after they done left, Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper was talking and was saying Shaquille ain't going to get nothing better than that. Why would you say that? Like, I know a lot of people, even on Twitter, I was reading some comments on Twitter, that they're saying, oh, Shaquille ain't gonna get no better, he lost a good thing. Is it though? Because he's the one who asked for a divorce. So maybe on the outward side looking in, it may seem like he's leaving the best he probably will ever have. But if internally, deep down inside, he didn't see it with Kirsten, then maybe it's the best that they're not together. Okay, let's not forget the beginning. She wasn't even feeling homeboy. And while I can feel a certain type of way and feel bad for Kirsten, because of the fact that I know it did take her a lot to open up, and I know she didn't initially want to introduce Shaquille to her peoples, because in her head she's like, what's the point of introducing him to my peoples when I don't even know if it's going to work out? So I know right now she's really, kicking herself in the butt, because she's like, I introduced you to my dad literally right before decision day happened, and just for you to say you want a divorce, knowing that he wasn't cool with this process, knowing that he didn't want to be on camera, and now what do I have to show for it? Nothing, being a divorcee. So like I said, while I can understand Kirsten's frustrations, I just feel like she was really salty, and I don't even feel like she was really upset at the fact. I'm just gonna say this all now, because we're gonna see the moments later on in my recap for this episode, I don't even really feel like she was upset the fact that he divorced her necessarily, like she's so distraught because she wanted it to work out. No, I think she's just upset at the fact that he curved her. I mean, it's not even necessarily a curve, but for slang purposes, he curved her and she didn't curve him. I feel like she's salty because she feels like she's better than him, and she's like, how dare he want to divorce me when if anyone should be wanting to divorce anybody, I should be wanting to divorce him. And not saying she don't have valid reasons for thinking that in certain aspects, when he was being way too emotional during the season and being, disengaged when he would just come home and not speak to her and stuff. I understand that, but I really feel like it's coming from an ego aspect where, in the beginning, she wasn't even feeling homeboy and she finally gave him a chance. And, now he became like as if he was the prize towards the end of the 8 weeks or whatever. So I feel like she's really mad at that. The fact that he's the one who dumped her and she didn't dump him, then really not being happy that it didn't work out. Anywho, that should have been the end of the episode, to be honest. But no, we're going to one day after decision day. So Chris and Nicole, they're waking up together in bed. That's cool. That's nice. We have Airris and Jasmine. They're packing up their things in their shared apartment to leave. And, I'm seeing the HelloFresh recipe cards. And I forgot product placement. Okay, product placement. HelloFresh recipe cards. You've seen it on season 11 with Woody and Amani, right? I believe so. And now we're seeing it here with Airris and Jasmine. Okay, they cooked some HelloFresh, and I remember earlier in the season they was doing. Okay, anywho, they're talking, and I don't really care what they're talking about. That's why I was more focused on the HelloFresh recipe cards than what they was talking about. I guess they're supposed to be telling the lesson they learned and whatnot. And Jasmine says she's gonna be moving forward, and going to be speaking her mind. But at the end of the day, she knew she was a damn good wife. And I'm not opposed to her saying that. Yes, you was, Jasmine, because you was rubbing homeboy's feet and feeding him fruit in an empty hot tub in the hotel-y when he couldn't do nothing for you. He wanted you to call him a king, but he didn't necessarily call you a queen. So yes, you was a damn good wife. Too good of a wife, to be honest. And then we get Airris, and he asking if he could visit Duchess. She says yes. Why she say yes, I don't know. If y'all divorced, for why? The only time he probably going to visit Duchess and take her out is for the next episode per the preview. Okay, and it's only for the TV show. But other than that, when behind closed doors, when the cameras are not rolling, he probably going to leave Duchess over at your house. So she said yes, but for me, I'm like, for why? But okay. Airris, for his lesson, I guess, he says he should have tried to be more open and vulnerable sooner. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, Airris, okay? Don't care. So they leave their rings and their keys on the island table before they walk out. And for me, I'm just looking at them like, the rings too? Do they have to give, if they don't go through with continue on being married, do they have to give the rings back? I mean, I guess I would suppose since they're giving the keys back, they're not staying in the apartment, so they would give the rings back. But for me, I'm just like, this. I mean, I know they do it every season, but I'm like, y'all so dramatic. Yeah, this is dramatic. Okay, we moved in on to Clint and Gina. They're packing up their belongings in their shared apartment, and Gina's saying her lesson. What lesson she learned? Because she's saying, oh, she's strong because she got through this situation. How are you strong, Gina? You didn't do nothing in this situation. Ain't nothing to be strong about staying in your own room in the shared apartment, not even sleeping next to him unless y'all was on a couple's retreat. What is strong about you going through this situation? You didn't even try. I don't know what she's talking about. But she said something else. Some other stuff. Who cares? Gina asks if Clint wants to babysit or dog sit Hank while she's out of town. He agrees to it. And Clint said he's leaving with a lot of happy memories. He better than me. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's nice. You're being positive about the situation, Clint. But you really didn't need to because nobody cares. I mean, I'm not going to say nobody cares about Gina. I'm sure her friends and family care about her very much. I mean, she has nice hair. That's all I don't care for her because all she loves to do is talk about crap about you, Clint. But I guess you're gonna take the high road. Good for you. I don't know if I would have, because I know I would have been in my feelings. But good for you, Clint. Good for you. So they leave their keys and their rings on the island. We then move on to Shaquille. He's packing up his things in the shared apartment. And Kristen is nowhere in sight because she packed up her things the night before. Once he done told her like it's over, she went to the apartment because she was pissed off. And she probably was putting on some, I'm not gonna cry, Mary J. Blige, packing up her stuff and dipped. But before she dipped though, when we seen from the camera, I don't know if it was a cameraman or just a mounted camera in the apartment, she done gave 2 middle fingers. To what exactly? I don't know. Vacant air. Like I said, Kirsten was in her feelings this whole episode. And like I said, I don't feel like it was because of the fact that they're necessarily divorcing, but the fact that he got to break up with her and she didn't get the chance to break up with him. So it's an ego thing and not really a heartbreak thing. So I guess while Shaquille is packing up his stuff, he gets a phone call or FaceTime from his friend. I think I wrote Bryson. So they're chatting and Shaquille explains that, just something was missing between them. And he leaves his key and ring on the island next to Kirsten's before he dips out. Now, what I will say, I know a lot of people saying stuff on social media, on Twitter about, maybe he's playing for the other team. That could be the case. I'm not going to say it until he says it, so I'm not even doing any of that. But I honestly feel like for him, maybe, because, he's all about his schooling and job, and while she's about her realtor business, Kirsten really, watching the season, she really seemed like a ditz, you know what I mean? So I feel like for him, he might not have been intellectually stimulated by her. So maybe that was another playing part in the reason why he wanted to divorce. That's what I'm thinking. If I could think of a logical reason, which I feel like if that's the case, he should have just let on with that. But then I guess that would have made her feel more some type of way because you're calling me dumb and a ditz and a bimbo when I'm a whole realtor out in these streets. I don't know how legit that is. I know some people have been saying that that's fake, but she could very much well be. I mean, I don't feel like she would be lying about that, but, I just feel like she'd be closed off on a lot of things. So I don't know what she really be doing. We're going to see later on she having McKinley look at her house, but that could just be a whole facade too. Okay, that could be something they found on Century 21 and, they got the code that they can unlock. I don't know. But Shaquille, I feel like there's very valid underlying issues that he's probably not wanting to say of why he wants to end things with Kirsten. But he got me confused by the end of the episode. But we're going to get to that. So we move on to Clint. He's unpacking in his apartment. And he's looking at the wedding books with him and Gina. And he decides to keep them and put them in the closet. Why is he doing that? I don't know. So Clint, if you get with somebody else like Dominique from what we may be seeing next episode, so I don't understand. Why are you keeping the books? I think they had 2 books. So maybe one for you, one for Gina. Gina didn't take them. You took both of the books. Excuse me. So you're going to keep... Couldn't throw them away. Excuse me. Again, burping. Couldn't throw the books away. There's no need for you to be keeping the books. For why? So then he gets a FaceTime with his friend Liz. A lot of FaceTimes this episode, which is further proving that y'all could have kept this with the last week's episode and just kept it as 1 episode versus 2 episodes. This is ridiculous. But he FaceTimes his friend, or his friend FaceTimes him, whatever, Elizabeth, and he's still hopeful that his wife is out there. Good for you. Like I said, Clint's taking the high road. He's staying positive. Good for you. So then we get to McKinley. He FaceTimes his realtor, which is Kirsten, which I was just telling you about a few seconds ago, with his friend Taylor. So they're going to look at a house. He was wishing that he would be looking for a house with his wife, but things didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. So, there's that. So he's looking through the house and it looks like it may be a potential. They'll have to see other places because I guess that's the first house he's looking at, which further to me makes it seem like this is a facade. Y'all just trying to make it seem like you moving on with life, but I feel like he just did this just to make it seem like he's going to get a house. He's going to buy a house, that he does have money. I'm not saying he don't have money, But he gonna go back to the basement, okay? I ain't believing none of this. Looking for a house, cursing his realtor. He just doing this for the TV show, and then he gonna go right back to the basement at Taylor's people's house, and mourn his dogs in Detroit. I think he was from Detroit, from the other state that he not living in no more. So Taylor goes on a confessional. She wishes the best for him. That's nice, Taylor. You seem like a very nice friend, especially for letting him stay at your parents' basement at their house. I don't even think Taylor even lives there. So that says a lot. So then we move on to Kirsten. She's with her friend. I think the friend's name was Chanel. I don't know if I wrote that correctly, but we're just gonna go with Chanel for this scene, for this moment. And they're chilling at her house while Kirsten unpacks, and they talk about decision day. She said she's gonna focus on herself right now. She got a lot of smoke for Shaq, okay? Because she's salty. Listen, I don't have to continue saying it. We all know what it is. So because of that, she keep talking about Shaq and not in a positive light. So she bitter, and the friend doesn't really seem to necessarily take the bait of what Kirsten's saying. She's just trying to see, did she learn any lessons? Because there's lessons to be learned from being with anybody for 8 weeks, whether you married, in a relationship, whatever this experiment that they trying to play in our faces about. You gonna learn something. Except for Gina, and Eris. So, does she say anything? No, I think she learned about herself. I don't remember what she said because I didn't even write it down. But she is annoyed about having to start over again. And for me, this solidifies the thought process of she just wanted to be married to have a husband, but not be married to work through a marriage. I feel like she's just annoyed about having to start over and the dating and all that stuff. But for me, I'm like, I understand anybody who's been in a relationship, they don't want to necessarily start over because, you put so much time and energy into your relationship. But at the same time, it has only been 8 weeks. Can we just pause? It's only been 8 weeks. I understand you with the person every day and all that stuff. I get that. You sleep next to the person for 8 weeks straight. Absolutely understandable. But at the same time, it's only been 8 weeks. It's one thing if it was 8 years. I can completely understand. Then I got to start all over after 8 years of my time. But this has only been 2 months. Let that sink in. It's only been 2 months. It's only been about 60 days. You can recover and start over, okay? You can recover and start over. It will be okay, Kirsten. You is acting very salty. Very salty. But we then move on to Gina. She's unpacking at her apartment with her friend Haley. Also FaceTime, or not FaceTiming, but talking to her mom and her stepdad on the phone. And Gina thinks that she's still ready for marriage, and the experience confirmed that. I'm trying to question and think, how did it confirm that for you, Gina? How did being an experiment or experience, but not being an experience at the same time, confirm that for you? Because you did nothing. You did nothing in regards to working out a marriage, because all you did was stay in the other room and just be friends with Clint. Like, y'all didn't progress for anything. And you solidified with that what you just said was BS, because then you started talking crap about Clint again. Like, why y'all keep talking crap? Like, Clint is doing everything to stay positive and, talk positively about the experience and talk about happy memories, which I'm still trying to figure out what happy memories were those, Clint. And you steady here sitting down talking that he was a class clown and that it was annoying to you, and that's why you couldn't find an ounce of physical attraction. And because of that, now you all of a sudden learn what your wants and ready to put it to practice. Gina, you would have been putting it to practice if these rumors were true that you was talking to McKinley during this whole process. You was with Clint. You was still married with Clint. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, Gina, because at this point, you just talking. Haley just going to be eating it up because she your friend. But for the rest of us, well, I know for me, for sure for me, Gina, I ain't trying to hear nothing you have to say, because all you saying is BS to me. Because all you want to do is talk negative about Clint when Clint has nothing but positivity to say about you. You started with the negativity with Clint. And when he met you, met you at the level that you was trying to talk to him at, then you want to, cry that he was doing this and that and talking so negatively about you, da da da, and wanted to end the relationship because of that. But you started it talking about his physicalities. But when he talks about your physicalities, all hell breaks loose. Gina, please, respectfully read the room. I think she mentions it later on in the episode. I don't care, Gina. Listen, I hope you see yourself on this season and realize where you could have been better, where you could have been less of a, because she calls him a class clown, but like of a mean girl. Okay, since we want to go back to high school and have these little stereotypes, you call him a class clown. No, you just need to be less of a mean girl, and that's what you are, a plastic. Okay, let's go to Mean Girls, the actual movie. But anyway, enough about Jenny. We don't care. 3 days after decision day, Jasmine and her aunt is unpacking her things at her place and tells her aunt about how Aries was, done been. The aunt was like, okay, so all of that was a facade for when he was talking to us. Jasmine said yes. And she thinks that he wasn't ready for marriage. The aunt was like, he didn't want to be married. But if that's the case, why you came on the show? Oh, I'm sorry, Aries. It was just to see what marriage sex felt like. It was a fantasy for him. Not necessarily something he wants, but like a fantasy that he wanted to try out to be like, hey, I've done it. Another thing checked off my list. That's all it is to Aries. It's all a bucket list, okay? So I love the aunt in this scene. There was nothing much to take from it, but the aunt was just very confused at his actions. But like I said, I love the aunt. The vibes were good. Her jokes are funny. I would definitely hang out with her aunt. I would definitely hang out with Jasmine. In my mind, me and Jasmine are best friends. Like I said, even from episode 1, Jasmine and her family, their vibes have been the best family vibes I've ever seen on Married at First Sight, period, in all of history. I love her family. I love Jasmine. Jasmine, we best friends in my head. If you ever see this, which I doubt you ever will, but if you ever see this, we besties, okay? We right here. Okay, we besties. Anywho, we move on to Shaquille. He meets up with Brian and Dorian. So they're his instructors to teach him how to do Muay Thai. So we gonna be best friends with Morgan from last season or something. Was it Morgan last season? Might have been the season before. Either way, we gonna be best friends with her. What are we learning Muay Thai for? Maybe there's something he said he wants to get back to doing him. So okay. And I noticed it was like a dark patch on one of his chest, one side of his chest. I'm assuming that's maybe from the accident, but it was kind of distracting and not in a good way. But I was like, okay, maybe that might have been from the accident. So kudos to him for having confidence to letting the patch show. Okay, we move on to Kirsten and Nicole. They go to a store to shop and talk. And I guess Nicole's been spending all her time at Chris's apartment. So she's not even really at her see, I can never talk. But she's never really at her apartment. So that's cool. Then we get to Kirsten. And she's wanting Shaquille to reach out to her first. Because she ain't going to be reaching out to Shaquille first. Because he's the one who asked for a divorce from her. This is the one and only times that Nicole was actually rational. She told her like, well, I don't think he would know what to say. Because like, how do you move forward from that? How do you converse after that? He probably just wants to give you space because it's probably awkward to try to hit you up to see how you doing. So she's like, maybe just give it some time. And, I know you want closure. I want closure, because Nicole got to make it by herself. And, just give it some time. I mean, was the decision day and discussing that, was that not closure? I would have thought that was closure, but maybe Kirsten needs more closure. And if that's the case, then Kirsten, maybe you should reach out. If you feel like it wasn't closure enough for you, you then need to reach out to Shaquille. Because Shaquille's probably like, I'm just going to give her space. I'm going to focus on me, just like she said she was going to focus on her. But she's so dang salty that she can't focus on her because she just got to focus on the fact that Shaquille really divorced me. He really divorced me when I'm the prize. That's probably what she's thinking in her mind. But you know what, Kirsten? It done happen. And what? You wanted to feel some type of way and treat him some type of way in the beginning because of the fact that you wasn't attracted to him and the fact that he was bald and younger than you. That was already 2 strikes from what you said. So now he just beat you at your own game. Even though I don't feel like it was from ill intent. It was just, he wasn't vibing with you. maybe on that emotional connective level that he wanted. Yes, she's a beautiful girl. Yes, she's gorgeous. But if the outside ain't matching the blends for Shaquille, that's because that's in my head. That's what I'm thinking. That's the reason why he chose to divorce her. Then it's not gonna work out. I'm sorry. Beauty ain't everything. It ain't for some people. For some people, it is like Aries, but not for Shaquille. So then, speaking of Aries, we get to him. He's talking with his friend Cheese. His friend is named Cheese. Nickname, I'm assuming. Cheese's girlfriend comes over too. I didn't get her name down, but I'm just looking at her. I'm like, she's beautiful. And I'm looking at Cheese like, Cheese, how you pull her? Anywho, they take a shot. And the girlfriend, Cheese's girlfriend, is not upset, but kind of like, oh man, I was looking forward to double dates. So Eris is like, oh, we can do double dates. Just get some of your friends. And I'm just like, Eris, have you not dated her friends already? Because I feel like you would have already tried that route before you came on the show. But okay, sure. And she asks him, oh, so what type of, girls are you looking to date? So because of the fact that he's ready to get back in the game and said he's going to be going on dates, going about his dates differently with a purpose. First off, when he said that, I'm like, no, you ain't. Eris, please stop the facade. Stop lying to us. Like, let's keep it real. It's like you trying to make it seem like you're keeping it real, but you still ain't keeping it real. Let's keep it real. No, you not. Okay? No, you not. You probably had sex the moment you moved out of the shared apartment with Jasmine. If you had sex right before you came on the show, you probably had sex right after the show. Even though the show is still going on, because I don't know what Married at First Sight producers are doing. But you're not dating with no purpose, Eris. Please keep the lies. Then when she was asking him what type of girl he was looking for, he had the nerve to say, it don't matter. Tall, short, thick, slim. Really? Oh, but it looks like maybe Jasmine was too slim, so it can't be too slim. But slim. This is what I be talking about. This is what I be saying. He full of sugar honey iced tea. Eris is just full of it. But we already know he came to play. He thought he was gonna come in and just be a comedic relief. I'm sorry, no. The comedic relief was Ryan on that one season with Brett. He was a comedic relief because I feel like he, intentionally did not want to hurt her feelings, even though he was on some dating apps. I'm still side-eyeing him about that. But Eris, no, you do not compare. Anyway, no, there's nothing else to take from him. After that, I was just like, Eris, I'm so done with you. We move on to Shaquille. He unpacks at his apartment, and his friend Christian and his wife Tasha come over to visit and talk. And they, ask him the questions about his divorce, whatever, if he have any regrets. He said he doesn't have any regrets, but wish it would have worked out. But then, excuse me, goodness gracious. I'm so sorry, guys. But he wasn't settled. Okay, so then you didn't wish it would, okay, you probably wished it would have worked out, but okay. All right, never mind. I just ate my words. Okay, fine. I'll give it to him. But at the same time, I'm just like, but can we just be real? I understand we're trying to go about it the nice way. And I know I always say it's not about what you say, but how you say it. But let's cut to the chase. This has already been so long. And the fact that my review is practically 30 minutes is I don't understand why my review is so long when I'm so over this season. But here we are. So he wishes him and Kirsten will become friends after this, and this is where I'm starting to get confused, because then he ends with he's open to reconciliation. And in my head, I'm like, reconciliation meaning what exactly? Meaning being friends and, being cordial with each other, or reconciliation as in getting back together? I mean, he confirmed that by the end of the episode, but I'm like, why? When you initially asked for the divorce, you're confused. What? Why do we do this? Not we, y'all. Why do y'all do this crap? Like, y'all confuse me, and you pissing me off, really, with this conversion. I don't need to be confused about what you're into. If you had in any ounce of it working out, why did you say no? Because you can't come back from that, especially the way Kirsten's salty about this situation. You ain't coming back from this, Shaq. So if you thought of any ounce of reconciliation, you should have just said yes. And then see if it worked out. And if it didn't, then you could mutually get a divorce. So I don't know. I'm very confused. We then move on to Nicole. She goes over to Chris's apartment with Charlie, and Nicole and Chris, they talk on the couch about. Oh, actually, before they sit on the couch to talk, they sign a new lease for a new apartment that they're getting together. So they're moving in together right away. So that's cool. And then when they go to sit on the couch, they talk about getting a joint account, more so Nicole mentioning getting a joint account. Chris is not really with that and says Nicole could just sell him the money for the rent or whatnot. She kind of seems like, oh, she don't want to do that, but listen, Nicole, that's what's going to be. There's nothing wrong with not having a joint account, okay? If people have a joint account, cool. If they don't, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You know, a relationship is based on what you guys, are based on what you guys decide how your relationship is going to work. So just because a lot of people do joint account doesn't mean you necessarily have to do joint account. It's just based on your relationship, what you guys figure. But I guess she wants to have a joint account, but he's like, nah, we don't need to do all that. You don't really need to do all that, but I can understand why someone would want. It just depends on the person. Y'all gonna have to compromise. Okay, I'm tired of this because I feel like, Nicole gonna keep bringing this issue up every day. Chris, that's for you to handle. That's your wife. That's not mine. We then move on to the next conversation. The next topic. He mentioned about her changing her last name. I guess she already jumped the gun. She didn't necessarily do it, but she's already in the works of doing it and showed him some paperwork. Why is the camera zooming in on her paperwork? That's her confidential, personal stuff. Okay, married first sight, y'all just nosy. Okay, like for me, I'm kind of like I'm not putting my paperwork on display. I mean, I guess she was just changing her mailing address or whatever the case may be. Y'all did not need to zoom in on her paperwork. Okay, she says she's in the works. I believe her because Nicole crazy, and anything she says she be trying to. I believe that she be doing that for real. So you didn't need to do that. Okay. Then we move on to 4 days after decision day. So this is when everybody of season 16 meets up at a bar. So when Kirsten and Shaq hug, it was a little side hug, more so on Kirsten's end versus Shaq's end. And I'm looking at Aries and Jasmine's hand. Why the hell they still have a ring finger on their on this finger? Okay, mine's not on because I take it off. You see the indent, whatever. Why do they I'm in conversion, okay? Everybody else's ring was off, it looked like, except for obviously Chris and Nicole. But Aries and Jasmine's ring was still on. I'm confused. So was this filmed before they moved out of the apartment? This is what I'm talking about. Married at First Sight producers, y'all need to do better at producing because I caught that. Okay. Anywho, but yeah, that was 4 days after decision day. But yeah, they moved out like day 1 or 2 after decision day. Okay, yeah, you see, I'll be catching that. Anywho, so they going through everybody and they're not being together. It's kind of awkward. But they get to McKinley and Dominique first. McKinley has been dating. Dom got a new puppy. McKinley was a little salty at the fact that she got a new puppy because she's like, she works a 9 to 5. The puppy's going to be in the cage all day. So that's very selfish and immature of her to do that. To not, think about the puppy first. While I can understand, yes, the puppy being in the cage all day kind of does suck. But that's her dog, McKinley. What she decides to do with her dog and how she decides to board up her dog when she's not home is up to her. She could very well be bringing the puppy to doggy daycare, like Zach from the other season. They have a lot of those things now, McKinley. But essentially, that's what she decides to do with her puppy. That's it. Leave it alone. Okay. Now, granted, yes, people just think, oh, let me just get a dog and it's going to be easy breezy, lemon squeezy. That is not the case. I thought the same thing. But then I got my Diesel and I'm like, the first 6 months was hectic. It was tiresome. Well, more so on my husband's part because he did most of the work. But I'm still, it was a lot. It was a lot. So that's something not McKinley, Dominique gonna have to figure out, okay? And McKinley, I know you ain't talking because is your dogs even with you right now? No. We are no in no realms to talk. Okay, McKinley, please get your dog first before you want to go judging somebody else and how they board up their dog when they at work. And you don't know, like I said, you don't know who should be leaving with it or who'll be at her house. So just McKinley, please cut it out. Okay, because we still looking at you funny because you DMing Gina while she's still married to Clint, even though nothing was happening between them anyway. But still, we then move on to Kirsten and Shaquille. So like I said, Kirsten's still salty about the divorce. And Jasmine asks if there's still hope between them two. Now, I understand experts probably told her to ask that question. The producers probably told her to ask that question. She didn't have to ask it though. But of course, it goes to the commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Kirsten pretty much was like, hell no. She didn't say those words. She was just like, no, once we've been through something, once we cut it, that's it. You have a chance to make work. But if you don't take your chance, then you miss your chance. That's it. You missed your chance. And there's no coming back from that. So it gets kind of awkward after that. Shaq says he hopes the best for Kirsten. And then, once again, this is where I'm confused. Because he said maybe it might be him one day. What are you talking about? You wanted a divorce. You said it wasn't working out for you because something wasn't settled. It wasn't right. So why now are you thinking maybe in the future? No, it's done. It's a closed door. It's over. Shaquille, please. I just try to think of a logical reason for you to divorce her because she's probably a ditz that doesn't stimulate you intellectually. So it didn't. So no, I don't want to hear this. I really don't want to hear this. I'm so annoyed that he keeps saying this. Because I'm like, Shaquille, if that's the way you feel right now, you should have just said yes. Because you can't come back from this. I'm not going to say never, but move on, please. Because she's too salty, and I don't think you going to get another chance. You're not going to get another chance. Especially that she wasn't feeling you. So the fact that by the end she still wanted to be with you, this says a lot. But that's because she just wanted a husband and not really a marriage. Anywho, anything else to take from these crazy people? No, Dom dips out early, and Nicole, being the messy bird that she is, asks if McKinley and Gina would ever date. They're kind of looking awkward. Aris telling us that, there's been a lot of rumors, so he's here for this little drama that's happening right now in front of his face, and McKinley said he's here for it. Gina said they'll keep us updated. No, they won't. Maybe on the reunion they'll let us know if they did anything, but who cares? So that was the end of the episode. Then we see the previews for next week. We're gonna have like a Where Are They Now part 2, because this was like Decision Day / Where Are They Now, and then we're gonna continue with Where Are They Now. And it seems like Dominique and Clint might be dating. Aris and Clint are dog sitting their ex-wife's dogs. Anything else to take from it? No, not really. The fact that this thing is 40 minutes, I apologize. Because I didn't think I was going to be talking this much, but here we are once again. Am I going to be here next week? Yes, I am. I'm as annoyed as I am that they're doing 30,000 episodes for this one season. I'm still going to be here to watch. I'm still going to be here to review and talk a lot. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you laughed at least once, please subscribe. If you didn't laugh, please come back next week. Because, we got a whole lot of more episodes to go through this season. Hopefully I can make you laugh next week. Or any of the other episodes. Whatever. Please comment what you thought about this episode. Be easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.